Today, I'm joined here with my grandfather. He has an amazing story to share. I'll let him introduce himself. Do you want to just say your name to the camera and maybe share your journey a little bit?
My name's Elmer Schneider, and unfortunately, Brennan happens to be my grandson. Just joking. Well, I'll go back a bit, like May of 2019. I've been not feeling well for about a year. No energy, short of breath, hard time walking up any inclines. So I went about 4 different doctors saw me, and the last doctor diagnosed me with leukemia.
Acute myeloid leukemia.
Yes. Which was a shock to me. And sitting in his office, I asked him, "So what does this mean?" Well, I said, "What if I don't do anything? How long have I got?" He said, 3 months. If you go on chemo, maybe 2 years, unless it goes in remission. So that really knocked the wind out of me. So we left the doctor's office. Her wife wanted to stop at one of the stores, so I'm sitting in my truck and my cell phone rings, and it's the doctor who we just left 10 minutes before. He said to me, "Can you be in Calgary tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock? I said, "What's going on, Doc?" "Well, there's a new study coming out with a drug out of Massachusetts, and we're picking 400 males around the world to go on this study. So he said, if you're physically fit enough, I can get you in." And long story short, he got me in, and I went on. My first treatment was in June 10th of 19, and which involved intravenous every week, along with some chemo injections. And if I needed blood, they'd give me a blood transfusion. So I've had quite a few blood transfusions. So I requested I go back to the doctor that discovered my cancer, and they did, because driving to Calgary was just a nightmare. The traffic down there is terrible. Anyway, I went to Red Deer and hooked up with the same doctor, Dr. P, I call him. It's Patty or something like that. And so we had 5 days every 3 weeks of injections. So about 3 years of doing that, in November of this past year, I had my regular monthly meeting with my doctor visit. And this chemo was just, every time I took it, it was worse and worse, and I just felt terrible. Just started to get back to normal, and then I have to start all over again. So anyway, I discussed it with my wife, and I said, "I'm going to quit. I can't do this anymore." So we had the next day was an appointment with the doctor. So we were in his office, and I said, "Doc, nothing wrong with what you're doing, but I can't do this anymore. It's just I come here to become sick, and I don't like being sick. So if I die in 6 months, well, I'll say, well, that was my choosing. So I went completely off of chemo. It was like a miracle. All of a sudden I've got energy and I'm not sick anymore. And every week I took blood. They tested my blood, and every week it was getting better and better. And this past week, my blood now is like it was 10 years ago. I take some stuff that Brennan gives me. What am I taking?
I give him VINIA, lion's mane mushroom supplements, turkey tail mushroom supplements, and with Dr. Brian Kornblatt's recommendation, I'm also giving him Avmacol. He's been taking those ever since about early January, maybe late December, and within probably a week or two, that's when he told me his blood results were the best it's been in 3 years. And as soon as he called me and told me that, it blew me away. In this binder, I have a bunch of numbers from his blood results over the months and the weeks for the past 6 months. And just to put this in perspective for you, so his worst week that I've seen was in December 14th, 2023, and his auto white blood cell count was at 0.5 to the power of 10, and it was in the critical category. The red blood cell count, 2.03, hemoglobin 88, hematocrit 0.27, MCV 132, MCHC 330 grams, RDW 17.7, platelets at 77, NRBC 800 white blood cells. I know I'm kind of butchering this. I don't really, I'm not in the medical field, but basically all these numbers were either really below normal range or slightly above it. And throughout the months, they've just only climbed for the ones that were below, and the ones that were above were actually coming down, which is unbelievable. Basically, yeah, everything was starting to normalize, and it just kept getting even better. Like his white blood cell count just before he started taking Avmacol was 6.0. His RBC, his red blood cell count, was 3.17. His hemoglobin was 132. His hematocrit was 0.39. His MCV was 122. His MCHC was 342. His RDW was 14.3. His platelets are 72, and everything else looks to be normal, or if not getting to normal. With each and every one of these blood tests that comes back, he's essentially able to bring one category into the normal range. But we're going to find out in the next 3 months to see if there is a tremendous increase, and we'll see if we can possibly even send his leukemia into remission. It's been an interesting few months to see his numbers be as low as they were to getting to where they are right now, to normality. And it's been such a positive sign to see how far he's come. Like back in December, he was incredibly tired. He looked even gray at some points. He slept probably 3-4 times a day. He just didn't have the energy. And now, looking at him now, he has energy like how he did 3, 4, 5 years ago. It's been amazing to see, and I can't wait to see where he goes with this journey going forward. Well, guys, I unfortunately lied to you. We decided to wait a year instead of 3 months just to see if the results sticked. But yeah, here we go. Here are the questions that I have written up for my grandpa. Oh, you okay there?
Okay.
Yeah, so I have these questions written up just because I'm a nervous wreck whenever I'm on camera. But yeah, anyways, Grandpa, how do you feel overall since the last time we filmed together last year?
Better and better every month.
Every month?
Yeah.
Wow, and then you told me you now take 2 VINIA every day. How does that impact your health?
It makes me feel more energy and makes you feel good.
Feel good? How much of a difference do you notice between taking 2 as opposed to 1?
Probably maybe 40% better.
40% better, wow. And then when you first started your treatments, what did your schedule look like? How many times did you go get treatments and blood tests every month?
Every week I went and had my blood work done, and every time my blood was getting better and better. So they cut me back to 2 weeks doing the blood work, and now I'm doing it every 3 weeks. And each time my blood is staying stable. It's not going down anymore like it used to. So yeah, I'm very happy.
Have you told your doctors what you're taking and why your health isn't deteriorating?
No, I haven't, because
You haven't told them?
no, they don't like anything that's not at a drugstore.
Yeah, that's true. I mentioned him take these about a year before he actually did, and he suggested it to his doctors, and they said, nope, we don't want you to try that just because we think it could do something terrible to your blood results.
They said, don't rock the boat.
Don't rock the boat. Of course. I'd say my last question is, how are you doing mentally now that you no longer have to worry about your health deteriorating?
Well, yeah, it's attitude is a big thing in life, and I have a way better attitude right now than I did a couple of years ago. Yeah, I feel great.
That's true, yeah. Like there were times where he would be silent, and that's not him at all. He talks and talks and talks, and now he's essentially how he used to be. When he got his cancer diagnosis, he became more gloomy, as anyone would, and now he's happy again. You can tell he's doing a lot better. And then so here are the results. So last time we did this about a year ago, that was around March 6th. So I'm going to put all this up in the video when I go to edit it. But his auto white blood cell count, that was 5.4, which has a normal abnormality. RBC is 3.45, which is below normal range. Hemoglobin, which is 144, it's not abnormal. Hematocrit, 0.42, which is not abnormal. His MCV is 121, which is above normal range, unfortunately. MCHC is not abnormal at 346. RDW is at 13.3, which is not abnormal. Platelets is at 60, which is below normal. Neutrophils, 3.6, not abnormal. Lymphocytes, absolute, not abnormal at 0.9. Monocytes, 0.6, not abnormal. Ionosophils, forgive my pronunciation, that is at 0.3, not abnormal. Basophils, 0.0, which is not abnormal. And that was a year ago. So this year, his test results were on March 5th. It's currently March 17th, St. Paddy's Day, which is why he's wearing so much green. He is at, his auto white blood cells are at 5.3, not abnormal. RBC is at 3.5, which is below normal range still. Hemoglobin 141, not abnormal. Hematocrit 0.41, which is not abnormal. MCV is 118, which is above normal range. MCHC 342. RDW is at 13%. Platelets is at 79, which is below normal range. Neutrophils 3.9, which is not abnormal. And the rest below it, they're not abnormal whatsoever. In fact, the results from this time last year, as opposed to this year, is about the same. It's just what my grandpa said. All of it is very stable. And then I'm gonna edit these graphs into the video, but basically if you look at his graph charts, his white blood cell count was very erratic ever since the late half of 2022 to about 2024. And then 2024, about late December, early January is when he started taking those pills. And then after that, it was basically a V-shaped recovery, and then it stabilized for the last year. And then same thing for the last half of 2022 for RBC. Basically, it was going down, down, down up until the end of 2024, and then he started taking those nutraceuticals, and then there was a V-shaped recovery. And then hemoglobin, same thing, V-shaped recovery. Hematocrit, same thing, V-shaped recovery. MCV, same thing, but just in reverse, a reverse V-shaped recovery. MCHC, basically trended downward and has remained stabilized at a certain level. RDW was basically another V-shaped recovery, but in reverse. Platelets was a downward trending kind of V-shaped recovery. It's essentially stabilized. And neutrophils, it's been very sporadic from that time period up till 2024, and then it's stabilized after another type of V-shaped recovery. Lymphocytes has remained about the same, but stable. Monocytes, basically an uptick, and then has stabilized. And then I can't even pronounce that. Eosinophils, basically, it hasn't really changed all that much, but it looks a lot more stable than it did. Basophils, there was that sharp uptick in about December, and then after that, it kind of came back down and flatlined. So yeah, it's been a crazy year. Really good results. You know, you're a stubborn man. It's not often you listen to me, but I am so happy that you listened to me this time around. So thank you guys for watching. Hopefully there isn't an update, but if something comes up, I will definitely make another video.
Happy Patrick's Day.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. Take care, guys. How did I convince my grandfather to start taking these nutraceuticals? Well, I started about a year before he actually started taking them. I suggested he did just because of VINIA, how it impacted my grandma's health, and basically just the research I did on lion's mane and turkey tail mushrooms. His doctors said, no, it's a no-go. We suggest you don't take those. So he put it on the back burner and just forgot about it. And basically 2023 was it was a tough year for me. That was a year that my relationship with my girlfriend of 9 years ended, and I basically slowly start to see my grandfather die. He just got weaker and weaker throughout the months, mainly the autumn and winter months. He was very, very sick, very, very tired. And he said to us that he is no longer going to be taking his treatments. He's just going to chance it because he can no longer deal with the pain and the fatigue. And he's just going to see where things go. And so that was my opportunity to pull him aside and tell him that you can't just sit around and do nothing. You have to try something. So I want you to try these nutraceuticals to see if it does anything. because you have literally nothing to lose. So he started taking them, and things started to improve, and I couldn't believe it. It was a sight to see. It seemed like a miracle, to be honest. And from that point on, that's when his numbers just kept climbing and climbing and climbing. And each time they would give me their passcode and their username to their health profile, my grandparents, and I would check it every, I think it was 2 weeks, and I'd open it up, and it felt like I was winning the lottery each and every time I opened up those search results. Because, you know, I didn't really have much of a father figure growing up. He was my father figure. And 2023, that was the year I lost my best friend. And I thought it was the year I was going to lose another. So why did I make this video about BioHarvest? Well, Avmacol is a nutraceutical that was made by Nutramax Laboratories. And this was actually formulated by Dr. Brian Kornblatt, the Chief Medical Officer of BioHarvest Sciences. And so even though we're not totally sure what really impacted his health the way it did, we weren't going to take the chance of just having one nutraceutical be a test to see what benefits his health or not. It's just too risky. And so he started taking Avmacol in about March, and we started to see his numbers climb further and further higher. And so we do think Avmacol is having an effect on him. We're just not totally sure whether or not it's the reason as to why he's kind of recovered. But I take Avmacol almost every day, and I notice a huge improvement in my mental health. I used to have brain fog for quite a long time, and I started taking that, and it almost cleared it instantly. Took about 3 days, I believe, and I can vouch for it. It is a wonderful nutraceutical. And the phytochemical behind Avmacol is actually called sulforaphane. And a bunch of research papers back it, saying that it is an anti-cancer phytochemical. And phytochemical just means it's a chemical that comes from plants. And so it's based on broccoli sprouts. And there's even research that says that the sulforaphane phytochemical compound can induce cell apoptosis, which just means programmed cell death for cancer cells. So, you know, we don't know for sure, but we do believe it has impacted him. Which brings me to the next two nutraceuticals. He went with the Purica brand. Mostly, he kind of switched around between brands to see what worked best for him. And even though they're obviously not BioHarvest Sciences, the reason why I bring BioHarvest into the conversation is because of BioHarvest's business model. So what they do is they take plants, they stress them out, they elicit higher concentrations than normal, than what are found in nature, and they are able to produce these compounds in plastic bags called bioreactors, and they freeze dry the cells. And so you get these cells with higher concentrations, and it's not just plants that they can do that. I emailed them a few years ago, and they said they can also do it on fungi. So I did a little bit of research, and fungi actually produce secondary metabolites, same with plants. And so if they can elicit higher concentrations of secondary metabolites in plants, who's to say they can't do it for fungi? And then, well, of course, VINIA. VINIA, it's near and dear to my heart. I
stumbled upon this company back in 2020. And they managed to send me their product in October to test out on my grandmother, and it did not disappoint. It helped her tremendously. It lowered her blood pressure. And I said to my grandpa, like, you know, if it affected her blood, just imagine what it could do to yours. And I wasn't disappointed. So I just want to end this video by saying thank you so much to the team at BioHarvest, and thank you so much, Dr. Brian Kornblatt, for all your help and just being there for me when I needed it. I truly can't thank you enough. You guys bought me time with my grandfather, and even though I'm an investor with this company, that is the best return I could have ever got, and it's priceless. And I also wanted to end this video by saying thank you to my grandmother for not only taking care of my grandfather through this entire journey and putting up with, you know, him being tired, cranky, forgetful. You were there with him till the end, and that is something I admire in you so much. And if it weren't for you taking a chance, trying VINIA, seeing how it was, we never could have got here. And it's all because you took that risk, and it paid off for not only you, but it paid off for him. So thank you to my grandmother for basically discovering the potential of this product. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will hopefully not see you in another update video, but if I do, I'll see you in the next one.